Tonight, I have with me inventor Mikel Anderson and nanotech and frequency tech professional, as many more people are starting to get their hands on this technology, good and bad. What is the outcome? Imagine a world with where the push of a button, someone could control you. Someone could turn off your lights. All of this is real. Stay tuned.
The world keeps lying, but he won't retreat on his quest for truth. Yeah. Truth, quest for truth. They can't stop me, they can't block me. Moving through, got that fire, they can't block me. Quest for truth, breaking chains, making waves. That's what I do. When they hate, I create.
Every single thing on earth. This metal table, our skin has different frequencies. Every layer of our skin has different frequency. The light is frequency. Every medicine, every herb, every extract, every water, every cell, every atom. Frequency is the light bulb in their house. Frequency is the water heater in order to heat the water for a shower, right? I mean, frequency is everything we do. We couldn't make one single object on Earth without different types of frequencies. Bone chilling is the wrong word, but the most insane thing that I literally have ever experienced. And again, hypothetically, right? So everyone's talking for hours in an office, and it's all about frequency, right? And the military uses frequency, government in certain areas uses frequency, and again, at our home we use frequency. We use frequencies to heal, we use frequencies to hurt, we use frequency. It's all about healing frequencies, right? And we're talking for hours, and now he's gonna show the few people that were in my group some technology. Okay, that's what we went to go see him.
And your
for,
group,
right?
your group is billionaires, so people don't, in case they don't know, right? I mean, we're talking like, we're not talking just your average group of people.
Now this is like high profile people, right? And so we're going from his office, going through like the secretarial area, going through other office spaces, and going down the hallway. And as we're getting close to halfway down the hallway, I'm starting to goosebump up right now. So you hear this wong, 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 like something's like breathing. Oh, it's funny, but it's like from within, right? From in your inner body, you feel this, I don't know, wellness, this positive energy, something, right? And he opens the door to go into this enormous area, and it was like God hit you in the face, or tapping you on the back or something. It was like, no words for it. Basically like, what the fridge is this? So I could talk for hours and hours about it, but so he goes, let's go over here. And there's this triangle going down, a triangle and an inverted triangle, a few seats around. And as we're sitting in the seats, there's sounds. You hear like the heartbeat of life or something. You feel it. It's just, whoa, whoa. You could literally kind of like feel it go in your body and out, and in your body and out. Like, what the heck? And then with light frequency, that we're just kind of talking about it a few minutes ago, but with different color lights and with sounds, not per se music, but tones of hertz, right? So it was like free flowing sounds, which I guess you call it music, right? But it's
Mhm.
not music, it's sounds.
Like a vibration, maybe almost like,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like a vibration, but it's almost like sound, like almost like when you go into to get a massage, and the nice tones and relaxing. It was those kind of frequency tones,
Mm.
and sitting in there, and we're talking, just talking, and just like not freaking out, but this like this is so intense. We are all mesmerized and like, what in the world is this feeling? Feeling of like love and purity and wellness and happiness. It's like, whoa. So we're talking about, technologies, which I can't talk about here, but we're talking about technologies, and it's like, poof, blowing your mind.
Mhm.
And being who he is, and him explaining this, let's call it high-tech technology of frequency into layman's term, was, something that none of us have ever experienced. The people that I was with, nobody is just like me. Never in their life have they experienced anything like this.
Yeah, I've heard of a lot of stuff. You know me, I explore the weird, mysterious nature of life. And when you told me the story, of course you're not saying everything that you said, but I there were things about this that borderline on like almost like a supernatural aspect. Like the technology is so far above what regular academia, like is the regular big pharma is capable of. It's like maybe stuff that only billionaires, I guess, know about. Like it's like this healing tech. It's crazy.
No, and it is a healing tech in so many aspects. So we went from, one device to another device. When I say there's like rooms, right? With different frequency technology from one room to another room to another room. And the technology that is out there that he has, right? That's there. And the technology that's out there, when I know the government and big institutions and pharma and stuff knows about, uses uh, different types of frequency technology that the normal people don't even realize or understand, and know about technology that can cure different types of ailments in the body, that can do wild things, but they're not going to let it out to the masses, right? The only time I think that they let something out to the masses in frequency is when it can benefit basically the big boys out there. Um, you have devices, I think we talked about this before, frequency devices, which is laser, which is frequency, right? That can remove one layer off of your skin. You go into, a dermatologist, right? To lasers that can cut through a foot of steel like butter, right? It's all about tuning in the frequency strength and the correct frequency. Well, those companies and governments can profit from that. And everything else out there, when it comes to healing and things that they don't control, my belief totally is they don't want it on the market. It's foo-foo dust. You're dreaming. It's ridiculous. But then when people realize that everything that we do, every single moment of our life practically revolves around frequency, then it's like, oh yeah, it does. I mean, just in the war, did you see towards the 3 weeks in, and then the third or the fourth week, did you see the lasers, which is frequency, shooting down the drones?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
It's unbelievable. And
Yeah,
that's just frequency, right?
yeah.
Um,
Well, didn't Trump say when they went and took Maduro, like nobody could fire a weapon or whatever? They used some kind of weapon to incapacitate them before they were ever even they weren't able. So like it leads me to believe this was probably some kind of frequency weapon that they used on the military because they went in without any gunfire. No, they didn't fire one gun.
shot frequency in and it disoriented them, and the noses started bleeding. They didn't know what was going on. They came in, they grabbed him and the wife, poof, out, out they went, right?
Sounds like Havana syndrome, what they were doing in Cuba.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. And that kind of stuff kind of goes in to most people in one ear and out the other. So that's, let's say, for military purposes, for certain situations, great, but we wouldn't want that in the hands, of course, to the normal civilians out there to really hurt people, right? So there's a positive and a negative.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some. Have you seen that railgun plasma?
I don't know if I've seen the railgun I've seen people make plasma guns, like, but I don't know that they're actual plasma guns. They look like propane things to me. I haven't seen that. I'll have to pull that
Okay,
up.
so you got to
I'm gonna look
Google
it up.
it, later on, whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up
So
right now.
the railgun plasma beam frequency. This is Google it, and it's
Okay.
showing when it's like on a back of a truck or whatever. It's sustained on the ground.
Dude, those are cool.
Do you see it blowing
Yeah.
up? Is that insane?
That is crazy.
It's a burst of frequency, right? So whether it's the laser shooting down drones and let's say top secret stuff that's starting to come out, it's pretty nutty what frequency does. And frequency goes back 4,000 and 5,000 years ago to the 432 hertz, in the pyramids, right in the middle of the pyramids, or the 5,000-year-old tombs that they found with perfect harmony frequency. I mean, have you ever seen how sand on a table with sound underneath it turns into shapes?
I have, yeah, like they have they'll have the big subwoofer or whatever underneath it that shakes it. That's yeah, dude. That's
And then all these positive, beautiful designs that makes it according to the frequencies, right? 432, 501, whatever. All these beautiful, gorgeous designs, right?
oh yeah.
And these different positive frequencies is known to help in bone health, brain health, overall health, harmony, sleep, all this stuff, right? They have freaking medical devices for it. You have to buy for shit tons of money. You have to go to the doctor to get it, right? But it's pretty amazing when you look at what that sand does and the vibration with good frequencies, and you look at some of these historical sites that's in the Ming tombs, thousands of years old, in the pyramids that are carved in the walls, in historical sites around the world with the same positive frequencies on different tones that you see beautiful shapes on that plate. They're embedded in pyramids and these architectural structures globally that are 500 years old, 5,000 years old. It's unbelievable. And they're the same shapes of those. I mean, you can't even make the shit up.
Yeah, man. It's like all the religious symbols almost all have to do with that. And there's a book, and I can't remember. I interviewed him like actually last time I was down on the way down to visit you guys. But he writes about how most of the old temples, like Roman temples and almost all the temples with the columns, they're the shape of almost a magnetron, as if they're able to receive frequency.
You heard about that missing pilot that they found, right?
Yeah,
The one that was in the 7,000 feet up and stuff.
yeah.
Did you hear actually how they found him?
Remote viewing is what I've heard. Is that right, or am I thinking of a different case?
No, so it's called a quantum, let's say quantum magnometer, okay?
Okay,
And you can
let me
Google
write
it.
this
It's
down.
out there now. So what they're saying is that everyone has a different, let's say, frequency of a heartbeat, just like a thumbprint, your handprints, right? And how they found this guy was this new quantum magnometer, whatever it is. They were able to find his heartbeat from miles and miles away that gave off this specific frequency. They took that, they took AI and got rid of all the noises, guns, bombs, cars, outside noise. AI did, and they found him in the crevice 7,000 feet up in the mountain through frequency from a heartbeat. So it's kind of scary when you start looking and understanding what is out there with frequencies that we don't even know. And that just came out, I think, like 2 or 3 days ago.
Well, there's this esoteric principle within the occult that, and not that I am an occultist by any means, but I've studied it a lot, for my broadcasts and stuff. But there's this principle supposedly that if you can tap into certain frequencies, you're able to see the past because the frequencies already happened, and you're able to view that because the frequency just keeps going forever according to this esoteric principle. Now, I don't know that they ever developed any kind of technology to receive those frequencies. Some people tap into it via like Vedic principles and stuff like that. Like Tesla used to say that he would tap into the what did he call it, the Mahat or the Prana or something. He would tap into that and receive all of his information about his inventions and stuff along those lines. I mean, is this what we're talking about?
This is what we're talking about. And there's a few people that do the same type of thing that you're just explaining. I can't talk about who or anything like that, but it's I don't know if it's a gift or if they were somehow got there. But when certain people need to solve something, or it just comes to them, but if they need to solve something, it just comes in. They accept it. And like Tesla, they accept it and they figure it out, they develop it, and it frickin' works, right? Some of these biggest scientists and inventors of the world were so advanced, as you know, that what happened to all their documents and paperwork? Why are people disappearing? Just recently, you see the last couple of days, the 10 of the
10 people, yeah.
It's crazy, right? And
Yeah.
these are the world leaders in this stuff, and they disappear. I mean, something's weird going on that, well, at least I don't know.
Well, this is
Maybe
why
you have some
we're
theories.
not mentioning any names on here either, because we don't know who's hunting these people down, what exactly is happening, why they're hunting them down. I think personally, this is my opinion, Mikel, that there's getting ready to be this mass deception on people, and they want to keep anybody that knows that they're deceiving people. They want to get rid of them, and that's my theory. It's a theory, and it's not a very good theory, maybe, but that's my theory.
Yeah, no, I actually, I concur with you. I think that the biggest problem that, well, have you ever heard of Project Bluebeam?
I have.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah, yeah. Tell about it in case people haven't. But I think that
well, no, yeah, I
yeah.
want you to tell. I want
Well,
you to say.
I mean, basically, the idea is that they're able to, with this blue light tech or whatever they have, this blue beam technology, is they're able to manifest things in front of your faces that make it look like they're there, but they're not. Like in that movie Spider-Man. I don't know, remember which one it was, but there was that one character that was able to make it look like all of these drones were attacking the city, but it was all it was basically this technology we're talking about. I can't remember the name of the villain, but same kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that today's technology, with AI, but with our cell phones and things, it's a great thing. The government likes it, but I think now the government probably regrets a lot of the things that is out there now, just our normal iPhones that we have right now that our kids have, and being able to speak to people around the world in a millisecond and forget about the news agencies and talk about conspiracies that it seems like, Mikey, my son, he's full of these conspiracy theories. And when high profile businessmen come in here and they're talking these conspiracy theories, and we have a mutual friend, Gene, and
Yeah.
the shit makes sense,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes total sense. And then when you couple it along with, actually being and feeling and seeing and understanding the vast, what is unlimited technology on frequency, and understand that we have trillions of cells in our body. Every cell has a different frequency. And each cell, this is, microscopic, high-powered microscope stuff, right? In each cell, we have trillions and trillions of atoms, right? That can be measured by frequency. Two, measuring frequency in outer space or whatever. So for anyone not to believe some of these conspiracy theories, at least some of the ones that I've heard over the last months and 6 months from Mikey and the gang, is it's opened my eyes up, and I know a lot about, not a lot, I know enough about frequency, from first-hand experience, but then I know even more about nanotechnology, which is frequency, right? And nanotechnology is used in the government. They use it in every aircraft. Excuse me. They use it basically in almost everything we see, we do, we use every day of our lives is, nanotechnology, whether it's a paint, whether it's a medicine, whatever it might be. But people don't even realize what nanotechnology is. And then nanotechnology comes from frequency.
Yeah, most people when they hear nanotechnology, like, okay, the one thing that, like, I wear the Nano Extreme, which is a product you actually invented, and a lot of people think nanobots right away when they see it. They're thinking like, oh, you're giving us nanobots, and people don't understand that there are always, with technology or with any kind of breakthrough, there's going to be real positive uses for it, and there's going to be really horrific uses for it, because nano is one of those things, nanotech in general, that can be so dangerous, but it can be so good as well. And same with frequency. It can be so dangerous,
Yep.
but it can also be so good. I mean, just standing in the sunlight, the frequency from the sun is like, that red light, the healing aspects of it. People don't understand that, like, God put the sun up there so that we could, I believe, I love just sitting out in the sun. That's like my favorite thing to do, but do you be able to receive that, the vitamins that you can't get anywhere else, light and frequency? There's positive things to it too. People don't understand, but there are very, very negative sides to it as well that people are using against mankind. And I think that's why people are always so nervous about these topics, because they hear about the negative ones. They always hear about the ones like the police that are using the frequencies to make people, like, almost croak, and then
vomit and whatever.
Yeah.
No, I know. And so I totally get where there has to be some kind of a control over it because of the negative side, right? So
yeah, the negative side's scary, especially in nano, like, and well, in frequency too. But like, imagine with them just spraying nanoparticles of glyphosate or something over everybody. Like, how dangerous would that be?
Well, I mean, who knows what these chemtrails are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like quadrillions of nanoparticles going and changing weather and changing, our DNA structure. My gosh, I mean, it's like scary. the other day, someone was telling me that on, seeding or chemtrails or whatever, one person was saying, no, that's not true. And I was like, after hearing a lot about it, I think it's true because when you see every now and then one of those big planes going across the sky with a chemtrail, well, it's the trail shouldn't be miles and miles and miles long if it's just moisture, right?
Right.
That shouldn't happen. But if what they're saying is, oh yeah, that's just normal, that's just, comes from the plane. There's 35,000 planes a day zigzagging here across Florida and America, across the sky. The whole sky would be like long clouds, right?
Right.
But instead, you just see them now and then. So that doesn't make any sense either. So I think that this stuff, that whatever they're doing with these chemtrails and what they're delivering, gosh knows what that is, right?
Yeah,
but
man.
somehow there's a
Nefarious.
purpose.
It's nefarious, and I think that when you look at like the Epstein files, for instance, and my question, I'm going to ask you this because I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Did in your days, because you've met so many famous people, I mean, you've got pictures with almost everybody because you've grown up in a family of healers, so you guys have healed with kings. You've got like King Gustav and all these. Oh, is it Gustav? What's the guy's name?
Yeah, King Gustav, Prince
King
Abdul.
Gustav.
Prince
I mean, you met all these people. You're friends with all these people. Did you ever meet Epstein?
It's so funny. Someone asked me that today, right? They like, Mikel, I mean, he's like, since you're a little kid, you've met virtually everybody and spent time with him and stuff. Have you met Epstein? I don't think so.
Good.
I don't think so, right?
Well, good. I mean, if at least if you remembered meeting him, if you don't remember meeting him and you did, that's not a good thing. But like, yeah, you might have been one of the Island Boys.
I could have been at a party or something. I don't know, where, some of these people hang out. From all these photos I've seen with him. I mean, there's a lot of people that I know and have met that are in these photos that are being released. And I'm like, whoo, good thing I didn't go to that island.
Dude, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of crazy things going on there, but in the files, it was talking about, different ways that they're trying to develop different technologies towards being able to look back in time, like Project Looking Glass and like weird stuff like that most people didn't know existed. Of course, me being a conspiracy theorist, I've been talking about some of these supposed technologies that have existed for a long time. But when I was at your lab, there was, I'm not going to mention his name, but there was a young man there that was friends with your son. And he was talking about a specific person. Everybody would know his name if I mentioned it, but they're actually like doing similar type stuff in their whatever they're doing. Like they're able to like step outside their body and go look into different things. And I don't know if they're using, I couldn't remember. I tried to ask all the, me, I asked questions, but like all the questions I could, but I thought I remembered him saying they're using some kind of frequency to get people to like be able to do this, but I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, not in detail, but, that even goes to, let's say, time travel, right? I mean,
Do you think that's possible?
I think it's possible. I think that every thought, every light, every voice, everything that we've ever done is there forever out there. And you just have to tune in and being able to grab it or go forward and see it and understand what, just like they say, you've heard for decades, they've sent, I don't know, it's the Hubble or whatever out, into space, whatever. And they're looking back, and the further they go, the later that they can see stuff in the past, right? And I think that's totally, completely legit, just as much as I believe that if you're in tune, you can see different things in the future. I think it goes one way or it goes the other way. People that are clairvoyant, and there's. Have you ever heard of Jean Dixon?
No.
She was a psychic, in the 60s and 70s, in that time. She was pretty famous, very good friends of our family. We spent a lot of time with her. Every time she was, in our area, she would stay with us. She worked with, Ronald Reagan. When the FBI, couldn't solve a case, they would call her up, and she would go and use her abilities, whatever you want to call it. And some of the most amazing stuff that you almost really can't believe, but kidnapping cases, murder cases, things from not just in America, but from around the world. Before they had technology and big oil companies were trying to figure out where to drill, they kept on drilling. Where's the oil? Where's it? This is back in those days before the technology. They would hire her, and I mean, she would pick out an area the size of America, and whether it's 2 hours or a day, she would say, okay, here's this, drill here. And virtually every time it's either spot on or 100 or 200 feet away from millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of acres, right? From the whole country.
Yeah.
And this is where you should drill. So I believe in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I believe in it too. I wonder sometimes though, like dealing with the like UFOs and UAPs and like people that claim to be abducted, you have like really like a similar scenario sometimes with some of this stuff. It's really strange, but a lot of these people who have claimed to be abducted and or whatever are starting to have these weird clairvoyant type scenarios, or even like being able to speak mind speak. It's really strange. They're claiming this anyway. I'm not saying this is true, because you can only take when people claim things, unless you see it yourself, it's hard to fathom. I'm not saying it's not possible. I think that it's definitely possible. Our brains only operate, I think you were telling me that our brains only operate at a certain
1 to 3%. All the rest is waiting for goodness, right?
Yeah.
So there's someone that I've had the opportunity to meet in my life, right? Amazing scientist, inventor and things. What I thought was really interesting, so when he was a younger gentleman, he was abducted, and he was gone for hours, but it seemed like days and days or weeks. He comes back, and he's still, let's say, in communication. He's invented and developed some of the most incredible things ever. And when he needs an answer to something, he opens up his mind, and it literally comes in, and he has the freaking problem solved. And I'm talking high extreme technology. I'm not talking anything silly or anything. High-tech technology where it's not even in any book in the world, in any computer in the world. It's never been available anywhere in the world on some of the technology that he develops. It's unbelievable. And this all started from when he was a young kid and was abducted and met with aliens.
It's wild, man. And like biblically, because I've studied the Bible, there's like scenarios like that. Like it talks about in the book of Enoch, I don't know if you've ever read that, but it talks about how these watchers came and they taught mankind all of the different, technologies and everything. They taught them these things, like these secrets from heaven. And then, like you think about that and you wonder sometimes if it's a spiritual, like these are spirits, because some of these technologies seem good, but there's also like this devastating aspect that, like we were talking about how a lot of scientists are worried, including like people who have invented AI and all that there's a good chance that technology is going to actually wipe us out. I think even the most positive, optimistic AI researchers and people that have invented AI give us maybe a 60% chance. Do you think it's a possibility that like some of this stuff is like actual entities that are maybe not for mankind the way that they think, the way that we might think that they are? Because it seems like some of the technologies we have been detrimental to society. I mean, as much as I love to have like a cell phone and all of these different things, but it seems like the younger generation is just like everything is just compiled against us, from blue light to cell phones to being constantly like, through social media and all that. Do you think that that's a possibility too?
Oh, I think so, absolutely. And we've gotten away because of all this technology. To your point, I think we got away from all of the hertz. The light factor, the hertz factor, which is frequency. Um, it's destroying the world, really. It honestly is. There has to be a bigger reason for these governments or the higher ups. They have a strategy, right? Because they know what's available to the public right now for every person in the world to get, to use, to have fun with or not fun with, whatever, is destroying it, and they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
They're not. So there has to be a purpose.
Yeah.
And frequency, I mean, I think it was 8.3 hours a day an average teenager is on his phone, okay? It's more than a working day, right? I mean, these lights are destroying our minds, our brain cells, putting us in these different patterns. Music, frequency is music that we're listening to. I mean, we should be listening to, let's say, good positive energy, 432 hertz, whatever. You get into some of these frequencies that are top 10 on the charts globally is destruction frequencies, right? Yeah. It's turning us into crazy people or kids or whatever you want to call it, right? It's unbelievable. And then people are gaining from that negativity and, let's say, hatred and death, right? I mean, from frequency.
Yep.
Whether it's your phone frequency, your computer frequency, sound frequency, music frequency. This is stuff that's destroying our society nowadays. And we could easily, when I say we, governments, companies can easily be able to provide certain technologies to help maybe not eliminate it, but reduce it greatly. They're not doing anything. They just let the cows out of the frickin' barn and they're just running, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what they want. I really do, because otherwise they would do something about it.
I agree, man. I think that it's hard to argue with that, because other countries, they do seem to, like China, for instance, they don't let them, the algorithm's different for them when they're online. For some reason or other, they change it to where they get informational videos, whereas in America, it is, who knows, somebody pranking somebody, slapping them in the head with a stick or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like all the stupid stuff you see. That's what we get fed, whereas other countries, and the food, like the food, I was in the Middle East and they don't have all the ingredients. The same company, different ingredients, but here in our country, we have all these added ingredients that are literally killing us, man. It's crazy how much they want to kill us. There's no arguing that. But I wanted to, before we like get any further and too much stuff, I want to bring light to some of the work that you've done in frequency that has been positive, for mankind in general. You've invented a lot of things. I didn't know this until last time we were together, but if you guys have ever used the little straws that have the little scoops on the end, you can thank Mikel, because he invented that. How old were you, Mikel?
I was like 5.5 years old.
You patented it at 5.5 years old.
Yeah, my parents went and filed a patent on it, and then they licensed it out, and they made quite a bit for those days, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny with that, I call it Slurpee straw, whatever. That Slurpee straw, it's funny because I've been to over 100 countries multiple times. Every country I go to, I see it.
Yeah,
Whether I see it in a restaurant or I see it in a cafe or I see it on the street or in a garbage can, it's kind of funny how that took off.
that is.
And it's
That's
still
amazing.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah.
was a definite solution, man. So, but you're working on
But
Nano Extreme. That's one of my favorite projects, and obviously everybody knows that because I'm always wearing a Nano shirt. I'm always talking about it. But that out of all the projects you've done, I remember talking to you. You said this is like the one you're most excited about.
yeah, the Nano Extreme, the pain relieving cream for me is so exciting because there's so many people globally here in the United States, but globally that are in pain, right? The older we get, the more aches and pains and twitches and stuff that we have. The younger generation, athletes and non-athletes, but from whether you're 15 years old or 95 years old, and I have done a lot of stuff in the last 45, 50 years with nanotechnology on, supplements and OTCs and, nanoizing, different ingredients for better absorption, micro encapsulating these nanoparticles so they go where you want them to go, or you have that long lasting and quick acting stuff. So I've done, I have thousands and thousands of formulas. Nanotechnology, again, going back to frequency, which it is for me is exciting because you can make any product or any ingredient, let's say, better, right? And I've done a lot of pain creams in the past, and when people come to me, hey, Mikel, I need an eye cream, or I need a pain cream, I need a multivitamin drink or a sachet or whatever, right? 99% of the time they would come, people that would come to me with a formula ask me if I could make it. I would say, I'm not going to make this unless I change it because it's shit, right? And I would change it just to be better, right? And then I would incorporate some nanotechnology. So when I did Nano Extreme, I did it for my son, as you know. My son had a bad shoulder. He was he was practicing tennis 2 days before his big first men's pro tennis tournament. He was 17 years old. It was exciting. Tore up his shoulder in practice. He comes here to the lab and says, Dad, I got to pull out of the tournament. I was like freaking bummed because here's his first men's pro tournament. So I spent the day working on, a nano pain relieving cream, and I threw everything in the kitchen sink at it. I went back to old formulas, new thoughts, new ideas, and nanoized a bunch of different ingredients with different sized nanoparticles, to penetrate through all the layers of the skin. It's like 10 times better than any other cream on the market because of the nanotechnology and how we make it with nanotechnology. So he comes down, puts it on, and in 5 minutes, he's like, hey, it's gone. So that completely blew me away. I knew it would work really well, but I didn't think he would be like cured from it. It's my son, right? And he went off and ended up winning the tournament. And then, Matthias, I think, as you know, we talked about Matthias, the, Super Bowl champ. He comes in, has his problems, got busted up 10 years ago, titanium screws, bolts, plates, in his, lower leg and ankle and stuff. Travels around the world looking for a natural pain reliever. He came into the lab. I was doing a different product, drink product for him. He's screaming and yelling with pain. He puts it on in 5 minutes. Boom, done. Right? He's like, "What the hell?" And then Mike Grindal comes in, the founder of Planet Fitness, and he was, having some problems with his lower back and his shoulder. Doing a taste test for mushroom drinks I was doing for him, healthy mushroom drinks. And I said, try some of Mikey's pain cream. So I still had it from, a few days prior on the counter in a big beaker I made. He puts it on. Mike's like, hey, we got to bring this to market. Because Mike's one of the tens of millions or more that suffer from pain on a daily basis, whether it's mild to massive, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what we did. And that's Nano Extreme. That's the pain relieving cream. people, this goes back kind of, yeah, there you go, right there. It goes back to what we've been talking about, with frequencies. You know, you take a normal, let's call it pain relieving cream, right? And it says, oh, it gets hot, it gets cold. It might last for 5 or 10 minutes and it goes away, right? It's just like, something that the 1 or 2 layers of the skin, 3 layers of skin might feel or whatever. And it's like, okay, it's gone. But we have in ours 19 ingredients. Every one of those 19 ingredients is, I feel, critical for helping with inflammation, or chronic pain, mild pain, whatever. But being able to go through all the layers of the skin, into the muscle, into the tissue, where it needs to go for that pain relieving. Anybody, some people go, oh, well, it's expensive. I said, what do you mean it's expensive? $20 is expensive? I mean, with the technology that's involved, that's the price of a movie ticket. And it's not just one application. Depending on your pains and aches you have, it can last a month or 2 months. Who knows, right?
Right.
Because a little dab will do you, kind of thing.
Yeah, you don't need as much. That's another thing that I noticed, because I used to use a ton of Icy Hot, and it never really. I mean, it worked a little bit, but that's how I got onto it too. Like I've known Gene for a long time, and he would tell me about this company, this pain cream, and in my mind, I'm like, I'm not saying I'm not negative about it, but in my mind, I'm thinking, like, I've used pain cream. It's just pain cream. But then I had my carpal tunnel thing going on where my wrist was really hurting, and I was at his house, and he had given me a bottle, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use it. I'm going to see how good this stuff actually is. And dude, literally within 30 seconds, the pain in my wrist was gone, and I was able to go to sleep. And that sometimes it keeps me up for hours or days, sometimes days. I'm like in horrible pain from it. So that was my selling moment for it. So like, it's crazy, but you don't have to even use that much.
No, you don't, not at all. And it's kind of funny too, because we're starting to notice it has more than just the pain and inflammation reduction or removal, right? It has so a neighbor and a friend, they got bit by ants, right? The red ants, and you get these little white blister pimple looking things, and it hurts like heck and all this.
Right.
So he said he rubbed the pain cream on, and within seconds, the pain was gone, and the boils, the blisters didn't start like normal, right? So
my wife used it for poison ivy she got not too long ago. She was out pulling some weeds in the garden, and she got poison ivy really bad in her hands. And I was like, try the Nano, see if it does. And like it didn't spread everywhere. It actually kept her from like itching her skin raw, because she's had it before. I mean, she gets it bad when she gets it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. That's another one, so there's multiple categories that start, neuropathy is, it was developed for all kinds of pain. But then neuropathy keeps on coming. We keep on getting calls and testimonials, and friends of mine like, oh my God, this is a miracle cure, right? Headaches, rubbing on, it's like a natural headache pill, right? But it's a cream. You rub it on the sides, and it's a little bit on the temple. It's unbelievable. So the uses for Nano Extreme keep on going and going and going. With the poison ivy, that's awesome. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I mean, it kept, because of some of the active ingredients, and it just kept it from being overwhelming for itching and spreading. Usually, because she'll get it, dude. And when she was pregnant one year with one of her sons, dude, she had it almost from head to toe, and it was like the most horrible thing. But like, as soon as she started manifesting this poison ivy, we just rubbed it on there. So yeah, I mean, for her, it helped a ton with that. But there's other things too. People have told me about, like, they're having like elbow problems, to where their nerves in their elbow, to where they've used it. And I know that you guys can't claim that it like gets rid of it, but like, they haven't had any of that happen to them again since using it. Like, they used it, and then like months later, there's nothing, it's not coming back. So I don't know.
I know. This stuff is amazing. Arm pump, which we've had a lot of testimonials. I'm not a motorcycle rider like Mike Grandal is. But yeah, of course, Mike Grandal's heavily in the motorcycle industry, right?
Right.
The off-road. but there's been a lot of testimonials with arm pump, how it helps with arm pump. And I didn't realize how bad arm pump is, right? I mean, you literally can't even freaking write anymore. You
Yeah.
have to, stop and get the blood flow and stuff going. But arm pump's another one that we're having incredible results from.
Yeah, and I've been able to since using it. I can rock climb, so I've been rock climbing. My kids do rock climbing; they do little tournaments and stuff, and so I've been able to do that. And I've been able to do more jujitsu because gripping the, gripping and then holding on to rocks and doing stuff like that. Like I couldn't, like I would be hurting for 3 days normally after. So it's given me the ability to do some of that stuff again, which I'm really am thankful for, man. You've done a lot of cool things. You've always been really a blessing to me every time I've met you, and I appreciate that about you. I know that there's going to be listeners that don't agree with everything that we say and do, and that's fine. But the I know that your guys go and your goal is to help people be free from pain at least from this project, man. So I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you, very much. I can't, words can't say on pain, and I appreciate that. And on pain, I'm excited because I don't know if I've told you or not, but we've been testing with different pet owners, dogs primarily that have, hip dysplasia, different problems, with pain, getting older. So we've been going back and forth, new formula, and we've been honing down, and we think we got the right one. We're so excited
That's
about,
exciting.
we'll be, I think probably one of the first pain relieving cream for pets. When pets have pain and they can't jump in the back seat of the car anymore, you have to help them up, and you feel sorry for them. The only kind of prescription medication is a pill you have to put down their throat, because you can't put a cream on, because first of all, you don't know how much you're squeezing on. You might overdose the pet, and then if they lick it off, if it's in the back,
Toxic,
they can
yeah.
get sick and they could even die. So the pain cream we have coming out for pets, which will be launching soon, is really, really exciting.
That is exciting. Gene actually told me about that a few months ago, and I was like, man, that's gonna be something, because I had a recent, my dog was a pug. I had an old pug, and she was always in pain, man. And it was always a sad scenario, and people will literally do anything for their pet. So that's a
Yeah.
product that, is definitely people are going to be thankful for.
No, absolutely. And by the way, this is like 10, 12 years ago. An average pet owner, this is probably a lot higher now. An average pet owner spends 435% more on their pet's health and nutrition than they do themselves.
I can believe
So
that.
that's how much people care about pets.
I can believe that, man. Well, Mikel, it's been great, and I'll see you in person again here soon, and I appreciate the opportunity, and we'll do this again. I appreciate it. Tell people where they can find Nano Extreme. Actually, I'll tell them. There's a link in the description, and there's even coupon codes in there. You can use one or the other. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. The only thing you have to lose is your pain, and so try it and check it out, guys. I appreciate it. Mikel, any last words before we get off here?
No, I just want to say, when I see you, next time, and maybe we could do another podcast later, I want to talk to you more in detail about some of this crazy cool stuff, that what I can say, what I cannot say. So I
Yes.
know based on what we haven't even started talking about it, right? On this, like
Yeah.
at this podcast, there's some insane stuff out there.
Absolutely, dude. I can't wait to hear more for sure. And I know that, like, we didn't even get into some of the stuff we talked about before that people would be blown away. But I think, like, the idea that just know this, guys, that there is technology out there that would it blew my mind. And you know me, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think that there's all kinds of technology out there. But some of the stuff Mikel was telling me about before that I'm sure that he'll relate to you guys next time, like, crazy stuff that is almost sci-fi. It's almost like Star Trek. It's wild.
Well, I mean, this real quick. So, what, 75 years ago, whatever, Dick Tracy talking on his phone, the comic books, black and white,
Yeah.
whatever that they started with, you know, back then it was ridiculous. I didn't even want to see that magazine when I was a kid because I thought it was so stupid, right? But You know, and fast forward today, we're talking, whether people are listening or watching this right now, it's freaking frequency. You know, black and white and colored TV, it's frequency. So, you know, people have to start understanding the conspiracy, theories out there. A lot of them are pretty freaking crazy, cool, accurate.
Absolutely, man. And between me, Gene, and your son, I'm sure we've converted you to being a conspiracy theorist. So congratulations. All right, my bro. I appreciate you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Pound the like button, pound the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.
The world keeps lying, but he won't retreat on his quest for truth. Yeah. Truth, quest for truth. They can't stop me, they can't block me.